Ilé-iṣẹ́ amóhùnmáwòrán, ilé-iṣẹ́ ńlá. Yorùbá TV 247.
Ẹ bá wa dá sí.
Ìpolówó ọjà tó kájí wọlé.
Ẹ bá wa dá sí.
Ọ̀rọ̀ lórí orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá gbogbogbò.
Ẹ bá wa dá sí.
Ẹ̀yin ará mi, ẹ súnmọ́ bí ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ pín.
Ẹ bá wa dá sí.
Yorùbá TV 247. Ẹ bá wa pín.
From now, or you may be forced to resign any moment from now because Kasala boss you years ago. Arise TV on fire right now because the video that they never wanted Rufai to release as per Akpabio secret with Natasha and all of that, Rufai finally released it a few hours ago. He said he don't care, that he already know that this is what Akpabio is going to do, that he already keep the video on ground. You will see it for yourself in this very video. I will play the full video. Nobody even expected it. Even Akpabio himself never expected it. Natasha herself did not see this coming. Nobody ever know that Rufai have this kind of video. So I will play the full video now. You will see things the way it goes. So I would like guys to stay connected to the end of this video. If you can share the video as you're watching it, just do what to share it. Check the different social media platforms. Let it go viral. And if you can share it, just like it, give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for us. Just stay connected button appearing on your video screen, and at the same time click the notification bell icon so that whenever we drop a new video in few hours time, YouTube will easily let you to know by notifying you. You know, a lot of things have been happening as far as Natasha and Akpabio case is concerned, and a lot of people have finally come out. A lot of people come out to make their own view, they make their own opinion as far as the case is concerned. Though what is delaying everyone now is the fact that Natasha have not revealed the evidence that she claimed that she have against Akpabio, and you know the matter is already in the court, and Akpabio have been expecting Natasha to release the evidence, but Natasha says she's not going to release the evidence because she did not want the evidence to come dead before arrival. You know, a lot of things that happen in the Senate, and they always tell Natasha that her petition is dead before arrival and all of that. So some senators came out to say that, but the same person that you're telling that her petition comes dead before arrival, that same person, you can't expect the person to release evidence because they will still make the evidence to be null and void. It will be dead before arrival. So Natasha said it herself in Channels TV. You know, this woman came out when she was asking her of evidence. She said it is until they plan to investigate the matter, that is when she will release the evidence that she had against Akpabio, because Natasha is a very smart person. Everybody expected her to have evidence, but this woman refused to release the evidence. But Kasala boss 3 years ago. Arise TV on fire right now. Rufai Oseni may resign by force by fire because of what they're gonna do to this man, and this man may get a sack letter as far as Natasha case is concerned, because the video that they never expected Rufai to release few hours ago, Rufai finally released the video. They never expected it. Where do Rufai see all this kind of thing? That's a question that a lot of people have been asking. So I will play the full video. You will see things for yourself. He said it's not even scared of being sacked and all. So if you can share the video, just where to share it as you're watching it. Share to different social media platforms. Let it go viral. And if you can share it, just like the video. Like it, give it a thumb up so that it will be recommended for us. You know, Rufai Oseni is always not to come out to say the truth the way it is. He will never be biased in the judgment. He will never come out to say things the way it is, never, and all of that. But Rufai in question, since when the issue of Natasha came out, Rufai did not really see a lot of things as far as the case is concerned, and that have got a lot of people suspicious and all, because the Rufai in question will always come out to behave the way he knows how to behave best. He will address the matter, he will ask questions that will unveil the truth out. But Rufai never do any of this, not knowing that Rufai already have a video that he have already kept for this own sake and all. You know, this man did everything possible to ensure that he dig out the truth of the matter, and you know, they never expected, they never see it coming. A lot of people have already come out to support Akpabio. Some people came out to support Natasha. A lot of people in the Senate, they put their support for Akpabio. Even people that they never expected that they will support Akpabio, they put their support for Akpabio, even to the extent that a person came out.
It's beyond winking.
I want to wink at you. Wink back.
It's not a big issue.
Beyond winking.
Why do you think toasting a woman is a big issue?
No, it's beyond.
It is not. When you toast, the woman will refuse.
No, that's not sexual harassment.
It's a different thing.
I already explained what happened. Yes, you're right. If someone comes to meet you and talk to you, you have the right to refuse. But if the person who is in a position of authority then decides to use that as a weapon against you, it is a problem. And in many countries around the world, it's a crime. Because, and it's either ways. If you withhold sexual favors from a woman who is a boss, and because of that she denies you promotion, doesn't allow you to do your work, in this instance, she has the right to represent her constituents. And if that matter is disturbing that, then she has the right to speak up. And so it's just like like our daughters. If we had daughters who come to you and say that, Daddy, there's this man in my office, he's oppressing me, he won't give me promotion, I can't get raised because I refuse to sleep with him. That is sexual harassment. And so it goes beyond winking. It goes beyond, I'm talking to you. It is the fact that a woman has a right, or a man is disturbed as a result of not, if it's consensual, they are both adults. Yeah. But if as a result of me saying no, you refuse to accept the no and then victimize me for that, that's a big problem, sir. Don't you agree?
I'm not an expert in that area. Let us call psychologists. There are people who have gone through this thing. But my own experience, a woman should be skillful to get her way through. A woman, she's an endangered species. And I know some of them that will get their way through no matter what you want to do.
Okay, I want to ask this question, sir. Please, with due respect, sir. If Senator Natasha was your daughter, how would you react to all of this way she's been treated and these allegations of sexual harassment? If she was your own
I have a personal experience.
Okay, sir.
My sister's daughter was at a university in Nigeria, yes, and she was being pestered by the lecturer.
Yes.
My sister went to see the lecturer and told him, look, this is the complaint from my daughter. Please leave her alone if you don't want trouble. And the man said, no, it's not, just don't let it be. So there are ways of going out of that. Probably they say they are friends.
But in this case, you can now see that sexual harassment is an issue. At first, you said it's not an issue, but you now see that it was an issue in this country with your sister's daughter, and she took action. But what in this case, where there's nobody to call Senator Sen Akpabio, because he's the Senate President #3 man, probably the only person that could have probably called him could be the #1 man in the country. And we have not seen, I might not have the facts, in this case where there's nobody that can go and warn the Senate President, as your sister went to do for her daughter's lecturer. What can be done?
In the Senate, every political party has a leader. And probably she could have reported to that leader, who will have approached the Senate President to discuss this matter. And there are ESCO too, executive of the Senate. She can approach them and they will call the Senate President attention to the complaint of the woman. Or tell her husband, let us go and meet your friend to discuss this matter. So the three of them should have sat down. Okay, look, leave my wife alone. What is your problem?
But sir, with due respect, that's what she did by taking it to the ethics committee. But they have now left the substantive case of investigating, which they have not talked anything about that. They are now saying it's because she had an altercation and a thief with the Senate President before, we should suspend her. Because the same thing you are saying, that's what she has done. She has...
They executed by us. They should have separated the two.
Real quickly, I just want to also ask one question. In your time in the Senate, was there any form of, high-handedness because a man felt it's higher than women? And how did the Senate then deal with matters like this? Misogyny, as it were.
We have a committee of elders, people who are old, who are experienced. They will not allow the Senate to go into this sort of mess.
And you say there are not enough elders in the Senate as we speak today?
I don't know their experience and exposure. But in any institution, don't allow this sort of thing to happen. If you are elderly people, what are elderly people in a community for? You don't sit down. You call yourself, look, let us talk about this thing. We are not talking about us here. We are talking about Nigeria. What is going to be the opinion of Nigerians about this institution? We cannot allow this institution to go down the drain. Look at what is happening now. It's everybody, but look at 13 of them did not sign. But they did not protest properly.
But a lot of people also said there's a level of unfairness, and I'm proving to you. There's been videos making the rounds of the current First Lady when she was in the Senate, that she too stood her ground firmly, but very brazen in some cases. But nothing happened to her. Is it probably because she had a man in her life that was a strong man? Do you think if Natasha's husband was a strong politician too, as Natasha was a strong politician, all of this will happen to
anybody that knows distinguished Senator Remi Tinubu will know that she was a teacher. and you don't mess up with the teacher, because she will mess you up too. So you cannot go even near that kind of woman, because she will stand up. It's just like Itagiwa. They will stand up to you as a man. So it depends. When you look as if you are a female and you are less than a man. That's when it takes.
So why is the Senate now suspending Senator Natasha Akpoti for standing up as a woman?
It was biased.
Okay, so they are wrong.
They are very wrong, of course.
Very good.
They went, something that they should have managed better.
Okay, I want to believe that Senator Akpoti's husband is also a strong man. Men have relative strengths depending on the area of operation. Well, I'm sure he's also strong in every respect. But this is a question. What came up over the weekend was the Minister of Women Affairs saying that President Tinubu is going to wade into the matter and that the executive is going to call the parties involved and they will find a way of resolving the matter. Should it be the responsibility of the executive arm of government to inquire into a matter like this on the floor of the National Assembly?
My own, suggestion is for the president to invite a committee of past president of the Senate to talk to them. I think it is more respectful if they go to that avenue, not the president talking to them. He can instigate the past president of the Senate, the other senior member who participated in the Senate around. He can call on them. I think Akpabio will listen to those people a lot more, because they will be talking from experience, because they've been the Senate president before.
So in other words, the Minister of Women Affairs has no role in this matter.
Totally.
And she's wrong to have expressed the view.
That is our own interpretation.
Okay.
But my own interpretation, let it be a Senate affair. Let the distinguished past senators, elderly senators, retired senators to come together and go, because we can enter the chamber and talk.
Thank you for staying connected, my great and wonderful viewers. You can hear what Rufai said in this very video. You can see that Rufai is a kind of intelligent man. It is very, very unfair that some people always come out to back this man. This man in question, the Rufai in question, it is beyond reasonable doubt that this man is very intelligent. It is very, very wrong to dispute the fact that he's intelligent. Look at the question that I actually asked that man. That man is not intelligent enough to answer Rufai's question in that very video. Rufai said he already knew the intention of Akpabio and other senators before that they will want to sign it Natasha. Even before they suspended her, Rufai said he already knew the agenda. Even when the court make the ruling that Natasha should not be suspended, they still go ahead, they still suspend her. Now, Rufai was asking the question in that very interview. He said, since they suspended Natasha for gross misconduct, they said they didn't suspend her for what she alleged Akpabio of doing and all of that, but they suspended her for gross misconduct. But the fact remains, who is punishing the Senate? That's the question that Rufai is asking. Who is punishing the Senate? Since the court make ruling that they should not suspend Natasha, they did not do anything to her, all of that, they should not touch her, all of that. Who is now suspending them when they disobey the court order? Who is punishing them? Who is to punish them? Those are the questions that a lot of people are asking. The court make order that don't suspend her, don't do this to her, but you go ahead, you disobey the court order, you suspend her. That's the question that Rufai is asking. And you said you suspend her for gross misconduct. Did the court not see gross misconduct on ground before they ask the Senate not to suspend her? Those are the questions that Rufai was asking in that very video. And I said that's not enough. That man changed his mouth and the man make it not a general public that sexual harassment is not a big issue and all of that. But Rufai shouted, wow, why will you say that? Then he asked the man further questions. Date back to the interview. Listen to it again. Rufai asked the man further questions that why will you say that it's not a big issue? He said if a man should blink on the lady, the woman should blink on the man back and all of that. Then the Markman analysis of how her sister's daughter was harassed in school and the sister went through for her daughter in school to the lecturer, all of that. He made that scenario. Now the question Rufai asked in that very video was, can you tell me who can challenge Akpabio as far as the country is concerned, because he's the number 3 man in the country. He's the one that is occupying the 3rd position as far as the country is concerned. Tinubu is occupying the 1st position. Shetima is occupying the 2nd position at the vice, and Akpabio as the Senate president is occupying the 3rd position.
and her treatment, with some women's rights groups organizing rallies under the banner "We Stand with Senator Natasha," as seen here in the Nigerian capital, Abuja. Akpoti recently spoke to DW and provided some context to her allegations.
It all started about a year ago, where the Senate President made sexual advances at me. He also has publicly made sexual remarks, whereby last year on the floor of the Senate, he shut me down during a debate saying that I am not in a nightclub. And then because I refused to yield into his demands, malice developed. And from that malice, he denied me several rights. I was denied speaking on the floor. I could not raise my motions. I couldn't participate in debates. And I was removed for a number of international activities. So all of that went on, and I was so silent, thinking that in the process of holding everything up, he will discover his wrong, recognize me as his colleague, and let me work. But no, it got worse. On the 4th of February this year, he removed me as chairperson of the Committee on Local Content. And 2 weeks after, he, in a bid to take away my visual presence in the Senate, he moved my seat to a far corner. And that was where all broke loose. I lost it. I couldn't take any more of his attacks on me, and I spoke out on the floor. I refused to take to the seats that he had moved me to.
In response to those comments, the Senate President's office has told DW that Senator Akpoti disrupted Senate proceedings by refusing to take her reassigned seat, saying 10 others were similarly reassigned and complied. We asked the Senate President for an interview, but instead received a written statement. Here's part of it. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduahan's narrative is a strategic deflection aimed at evading responsibility for her disorderly conduct, breach of legislative protocol, and contempt for Senate authority. It goes on to say sexual harassment is a serious issue that deserves due process and fair hearing. However, false or politically motivated allegations weaponized for personal gain are equally damaging. So, what are Nigerians making of this debate? Here are a few perspectives.
I feel like no is no. When a woman says no verbatim, like she says it straight, no is no. And use of power, you're in an office, you are the boss, you want to, because you have that power, it is alarming. It's actually happening, but you know, we can't speak up because it's actually our, you know how job is in Nigeria now. Your job is actually on the line, because when you speak up, you might lose your job.
I think our society needs to stop this stigmatization of when they say someone is being harassed, you will now be, look at that, that's the person. It should stop. When we stop that, we encourage people to speak up, because even a lot of people are dying in silence. A lot of women are depressed.
I'm now joined by Ireti Bakari Youssef, broadcaster, women's rights activist, and founder of Purple Women Foundation, as well as ONE. Ireti, I want to start by asking you what ONE is.
ONE, thank you very much for having me, by the way. ONE stands for, it's actually WAAN, which stands for We Are All Natasha.
So you felt compelled to actually start this foundation as a result of this particular case?
Well, it's actually a movement, yes. It was triggered off literally. For me, the first day the issue began, which was at the Senate, when we saw the exchange live. Immediately after that, I was on another station. I was being interviewed. And once I came off that, I knew that. And at that time, there hadn't been any issue of sexual harassment, because there was like 2 or 3 days before she came on TV to talk about the sexual harassment issue. But yes, ONE, and it's perfect. It sums up what's happening in Nigeria. It's not just about the women, it's also about men, young boys, young girls. It's about patriarchy. That's really what ONE covers.
Well,
the patriarchal structure.
Talk to us a little bit more about this. Why has this case ignited so much discussion?
Excellent question. Because for a long time, decades, not even a long time, decades and decades and decades. You've had advocates like myself who have been encouraging women to come out and speak their truth with regards to sexual and gender-based violence. So the campaign has been going on for a long time. But in the case of Senator Natasha Akpabio, she is the most senior female in government and in society, let's be honest, and I'm talking about in the professional space now, that has come out to literally speak her truth, but not only speak her truth, but to point to the third citizen. The Senate President is the third citizen of Nigeria. So by her doing that, not only would it encourage and inspire other survivors to come through, but it also pivoted the conversation in a way that had never happened before. Gender-based violence doesn't just affect women, it also affects men. In Nigeria, it's the patriarchal structure that stops a man who is qualified and therefore not able to get the job because they're not part of the minority who hold this structure so tightly. Okay, it's the same one that will stop a boy who is perfectly qualified from getting the job that they have the skills for, because their father is not part of the old boys group of patriarchy. It is now even more so the big wall and boundaries that is built to prevent women from actually coming into politics.
Can you give us an example or examples of the kinds of things women have to endure while simply conducting their lives on a daily basis?
Wow, when we talk about sexual harassment, I can just off my head at least 5, 6, 7 women who are personal friends of mine who have gone, when I will tell you, and it will shock your viewers. A friend of mine goes into an office to do a presentation to an MD. She gets there, he turns around from his table and his trousers are down and is showing his family jewels.
My goodness.
Yeah, that's not unique to her at all.
That's not unique to her.
A woman works with a man, or she's working with a client or whatever, and she's told to come and meet him at a hotel. She gets to the hotel only to be told she has to go to his room.
Okay, enough said. As I've listened to what people say about these issues, women in particular, one thing stands out. All the voices saying it's taboo to complain about sexual harassment, even when you're the alleged victim. Can you point to any reasons for that?
It's societal. So when a woman speaks out, she's automatically slut-shamed, number one. Number two, she's often ostracized from her community. And this is what happens. It's always designed to silence the survivors. It's designed to weaken your resolve. It's designed to break and shatter your strength. It's also then, by extension, a message to other women that don't you dare speak up, because if we can do this to Natasha Akpabio, look at what we can do to you.
Let's go back to Senator Akpabio for a moment. As you know, there are a lot of people praising her bravery, but very few saying this is Nigeria's Me Too moment. Why?
Let me address why I call it our Me Too moment. Because Senator Natasha is not the first woman to come out and point to the same person, or allege that the same person, the same Senate president, actually sexually harassed them. It is also widely believed that all the other, if there are any other woman out there, be of whatever age, who can point to the same perpetrator, they won't. they will be too afraid. They will be too scared because, and that's why I keep going back to, yes, it is an alleged, it's alleged because it hasn't gotten to court. It hasn't been, the Senate have refused to investigate it, but also all the accusations and harassments and the weaponization of state instruments that is fashioned against Senator Natasha is by extension a way of silencing other women from coming out.
We will have to end it there. Our deep, deep thanks to Ireti Bakari Youssef.
Now to Nigeria, where a sexual harassment claim in the country's Senate has sparked a debate over sexism in the conservative country. Senator Natacha has accused the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, of asking her for sexual favors, a claim that he denies. She was then suspended from office. Scuffles broke out at a demonstration in the capital, Abuja, in support of Senator Akpoti. Demonstrators and rights groups are calling for a transparent investigation and for gender equality. Only 4 of the Senate's 109 members are women. Well, the senator who made that complaint joins us now live from Abuja. Natasha Akpoti, welcome to DW. What do you say happened between you and the Senate President to prompt your complaint?
Thanks so much for having me on your show. And it all started about a year ago, where the Senate President made sexual advances at me. He also has publicly made sexual remarks, whereby last year on the floor of the Senate, he shot me down during a debate saying that I am not in a nightclub. And then because I refused to yield into his demands, malice developed. And from that malice, he denied me several rights. I was denied speaking on the floor. I could not raise my motions. I couldn't participate in debates. And I was removed for a number of international activities. So all of that went on, and I was still silent, thinking that in the process of holding everything up, he will discover his wrong, recognize me as his colleague, and let me work. But no, it got worse. On the 4th of February this year, he removed me as chairperson of the Committee on Local Content. And 2 weeks after, he, in a bid to take away my visual presence in the Senate, he moved my seat to a far corner. And that was where all broke loose. I lost it. I couldn't take any more of his attacks on me, and I spoke out on the floor. I refused to take to the seats that he had moved me to. And from then I opened up to my husband, which was very difficult to do because the Senate President was good friends with my husband at that time, but I had to manage a whole lot of this for 1 whole year. So I opened up to my husband. I said, listen, this is what I have been going through. I have been going through sexual harassment, and it has impacted negatively on my ability to work as a duly elected senator. And that was when I went open on the 28th of February this year on the television station named Arise, and I let my story out.
Okay, so the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, denies your accusations. What happened when you submitted this petition complaining about his behavior?
Of course, he's going to deny. Most wrongdoers will deny because it's a taboo for Nigerian women to speak about being sexually harassed. I mean, we have a culture that shames women about our bodies and speaking about sexual harassment, even though it's it's a form of violence here against women, but many women don't speak about it because there's no platform to air such complaints. Right. But what happened? On the 5th of March, on the 5th of March 2025, I submitted formally a report on sexual harassment against the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio. But what happened? The very next day, I was suspended for 6 months with gruesome conditions, that all my security was taken away from me. I was not to be near the National Assembly for the 6 months of my suspension, that I was supposed to cease presenting myself as a senator locally and internationally, and that I think it's really wrong. It's not constitutional because the fact that I'm suspended illegally does not in any way take away my legitimacy as a senator. The Senate President did not elect me. None of the senators that elected me. My constituents voted me as a senator. Right. And for me to be slammed with such conditions, which other senators that were suspended were not given such conditions. Understood. So that actually shows the amount of vendetta that I have been tapped, I've had to deal with.
And can you explain to us what Senate authorities told you about why they were suspending you?
They summed it up to say I was suspended for gross misconduct as against my allegation of sexual harassment, but I believe that I was suspended to silence me from speaking forth, more like punishing me and setting an example so that no other woman would dare speak on such things, especially against powerful men. So they say I was suspended for gross misconduct, and I ask, what exactly amounts to the gross misconduct? Was it because I refused to move my seats? We have there were videos that popped up whereby the same Senate president in the 8th Assembly years back, he also had a row in the chambers because his seat was moved when he was not duly notified.
Right.
And his countenance, there was actually much more. In the Nigerian Senate, we have had senators gone physical on themselves, shouted, insulted, cursed, and even threw items at themselves. They were not suspended. So why me? I think I am just victimized. And that's the bigger picture of how women are treated in politics in Nigeria.
And could I
but
just
let me say this. Let me say this, very important. Okay. I am not the first woman to have accused the same man.
Ilé-iṣẹ́ amóhùnmáwòrán, ilé-iṣẹ́ ńlá, Yorùbá TV 247, ẹ bá wa dá sí. Ìpolówó ọjà tó kájí wọlé, ẹ bá wa dá sí. Ọ̀rọ̀ lórí orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá gbogbogbò, ẹ bá wa dá sí. Ẹ̀yin ará mi, ẹ súnmọ́ bí, ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ pín, ẹ bá wa dá sí. Yorùbá TV 247, ẹ bá wa pín.